We are in a weather alert this afternoon as southern Colorado prepares for another round of snow and winter weather. Here is a live look from our Steve's Paint Supply camera atop our studios in southwest Colorado Springs. It is looking up towards Pikes Peak, but a bit hard to see today due to some thick clouds in between there.
Storm Tracker 13 Chief Meteorologist Mary Matthews is here with a check on when the snow is expected to pick up and how much you can expect in your neck of the woods. Mary.
Yeah, you can see more of the returns are starting to really show up now across the Sangre de Cristos, areas into La Vida, parts of Cuchara down to Trinidad. Trinidad not quite seeing any snow just yet, but probably a lot of the lowering of the cloud deck if you're looking west towards the mountains. And you can see right here across La Vida, just a steady light snowfall along Highway 160 and then across areas closer to the Sangre de Cristos, and just kind of spotty as you work your way north into parts of Beulah Valley, areas into Rye and Pueblo West, probably getting just a few light rain showers, a bit of a mix of snow and rain there at the surface. Some heavier returns showing up north of Penrose, and then of course you'll notice around the Pikes Peak region some spotty snow showers kind of through the area. But as we move through the overnight hours, this is really going to start to pick up, especially across our southern mountains and areas into the San Luis Valley. If you're joining us as far west as the San Juans or parts of Pagosa Springs, probably not going to really start to get that heavy blanket of snow until we get closer to the midnight hours. So this is primarily going to be a system. It's really going to hug I-25 and favor those foothills around the wet mountains and parts of our central mountains as well. Notice as we get into about 10 o'clock tonight, we're starting to see snow spreading west into Durango and Pagosa Springs, still becoming fairly heavy across the Raton Pass, not really reaching as far east as the southeastern plains, so we're not going to pick up really any snow along and south of Highway 50, but here across parts Pikes Peak region in areas west of Pueblo, the snow will stay pretty consistent from about 9 o'clock tonight on to about 4 o'clock in the morning before most of that snow will start to really taper off closer to sunrise and through the mid-morning hours. So we'll see decreasing clouds tomorrow afternoon and a bit more in the way of sunshine. But if you're joining us across the Sangres or the San Luis Valley or the San Juans, we're going to be socked in with those clouds for most of the day tomorrow. Here's a look at that future snowfall, and you'll notice the track of the system changes just ever so slightly. We could actually get this heavier blanket of snow, this zone of about 4 to 6 inches, which is that royal blue color, really inching closer to the interstate. So something to be cognizant of, because there's a very sharp delineation line between the very heavy snow there that we'll likely get in La Vida versus closer to the interstate, a general 2 to 4 inches being on the higher side. As you work your way north into Colorado City, parts of Beulah Valley and Wetmore, 3 to 6 inches. 6 to 7 will be on the higher side, depending on the elevation you live at. 3 on the lower side. As you go a little bit farther towards the east around Pueblo and then into Boone, you can kind of see how the snow will become a bit lighter, where we really won't pick up much, but about a trace close to an inch. That'll be the same scenario here in the Pikes Peak region. Again, it's going to be enough to start to really coat those secondary roads later tonight, so partially covered. It could be what we're looking at tomorrow morning, closer to the mountains and areas into Manitou Springs and Taylor County. Temperatures will struggle to make it out of the 20s and 30s tomorrow. The winds will start to back off just a bit, so that wind won't have quite as much of a bite to it tomorrow afternoon. Temperatures in the 40s across the southeastern plains on Tuesday. We get a little bit of sunshine, and look at this. You talk about a whiplash in temperatures for lower terrain areas by Wednesday. We're going to be back up into the 50s and 60s, well above average for this time of year, and that's going to be attributed to that wind direction, that wind out of the west. When those winds excel down the mountains, it really dries out the atmosphere along and east of I-25, lowering relative humidity levels and warming up the surface. That's going to be the scenario on Wednesday, and that's all attributed to a weak wave of energy that's actually going to contribute to some snowfall for us across parts of Breckenridge and areas just west of Denver, some of those more local ski resorts, as they like to call it, as you get up closer to Leadville, Breckenridge, Silverthorne, Lake Dillon, some of those areas, and even stretching up close to Rocky Mountain National Park. That'll be for Wednesday morning and Wednesday afternoon, which is certainly a good thing, because some of these ski resorts are struggling just a bit in terms of base depth, and not to mention we still have most of the state under extreme to exceptional drought-stricken conditions, so we need all the snowpack we can get right now. Temperatures will be in the 20s for Woodland Park on Tuesday. A lot of cloud cover in the area, and boy, we warm up in a big way heading into the mid to latter half of the week before we'll start to cool back down into Friday, and then look at that, warming right back up heading into the weekend. So we'll be above average, more so this week than we will be more seasonal, if that makes any sense. So just bundle up, put those sunglasses away, keep the snow shovels handy, and we'll get a little bit more sunshine into the mid part of the week. Otherwise, just stay warm because it's chilly out there, especially kind of a wet cold, which to me is always less tolerable.
Can't wait till Wednesday. Mary, thanks. Monarch Mountain is currently among the most southernmost ski mountains in Colorado.
But another resort that closed 20 years ago is well on its way.